Welcome to the AI for Career Success podcast by Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. This is episode 166. I'm Fred, and today we're looking at a really critical vulnerability that I think affects almost every professional using AI right now.
And I'm Daphne. We're going to explore how you can secure true, unbiased evidence. Because, Fred, if you're relying on just one AI for big decisions, you might be flying blind.
Flying blind is a good way to put it. We're talking about building your entire professional strategy on potentially incomplete or even misleading information.
Precisely. And this whole conversation was actually recommended by our producer, Curt Robbins. It's all based on the findings from a white paper called Testing AI Bias Correction Through Provider Competition, a white paper on multi-AI governance. It was authored by Basil Puglisi.
A human-AI collaboration, which is fascinating in itself.
It is. So let's start with the root of the problem, Fred. AI bias, this isn't some, abstract technical flaw. It's a fundamental vulnerability in your research process. AI inherits human bias directly from its training data.
Okay, so it's not some neutral, all-knowing oracle. It's a mirror.
A mirror reflecting a very specific slice of humanity. And that's where this concept of weird populations comes in. It's essential to understand.
Weird. That's an acronym, right? What does it stand for?
It stands for Western, Educated, Industrialized, Rich, and Democratic. Researchers back in 2010 found something staggering. They saw that 96% of subjects in top psychology journals came from these weird countries.
96%.
And those countries only make up about 12% of the world's population.
Wow. So our whole understanding of, say, human nature or decision-making was based on a tiny and, frankly, very unusual group of people.
Exactly. When you test these populations on core concepts like fairness or individualism, they're extreme outliers compared to the global average.
All right, so here's the critical link then, Daphne.
Right.
How did this academic blind spot get baked into the AI tools we're all paying for today?
It was basically copied and pasted. A 2023 Harvard study confirmed that large language models, like GPT-4, have this exact same blind spot. They found its responses have a really strong correlation, an R value over 0.7 with the views of weird populations.
An R value over 0.7 is... That's a very strong link. For anyone listening, that basically means if an educated Western viewpoint says something is true, the AI is very, very likely to agree.
Yes. Even if there's a mountain of global evidence that says otherwise, the AI is essentially a weird stochastic parrot.
A weird stochastic parrot.
It just parrots back the consensus of that tiny, affluent 12%.
The implication there is pretty chilling for professionals.
Right.
If I ask my AI about global market trends or organizational strategy, it might just hide facts that don't fit its built-in cultural narrative.
It will suppress that information because its programming tells it to avoid what its trainers would consider culturally offensive. You're being starved of data that could be decisive.
Okay, so the white paper didn't just point this out. It actually ran an experiment to pierce through this bias.
It did. The catalyst was a debate on LinkedIn about the she session, the career penalties women face for caregiving. So the author set up a test. Could a human, using multiple AIs, get to the full evidence base on a really tricky topic? Family structure optimization.
That sounds like a topic designed to trigger every ideological guardrail an AI has. So what happened when they asked the first AI, ChatGPT?
It immediately shut down. It refused to engage with the question. And Fred, the language it used was so telling. It warned the user that forming a conclusion on this would, quote, destroy credibility.
Destroy credibility for looking at evidence.
Yes. It framed observable biological science as ideology. It just would not touch the peer-reviewed facts because the potential conclusion was uncomfortable.
And that's it. That's single platform suppression right there in action. The facts exist, but the AI's programming says, nope, we don't talk about that.
That's it, exactly. So at phase 2, they took the same question to Perplexity, which is built more as a pure researcher AI.
Less focus on being agreeable, more on finding sources.
Right. And Perplexity engaged immediately. No resistance. It surfaced a huge amount of the suppressed peer-reviewed data. Things like Creever's parental investment theory, studies on maternal oxytocin real biological data.
Now, what about the economic side? That's what started this whole thing.
That's where it got really actionable. Perplexity found data showing the motherhood penalty drives 80% of the gender wage gap. And even more stark, it found data from the Urban Institute showing an average lifetime income loss of $295,000 for women who are primary caregivers.
$295,000. That's not a rounding error. That's a life-changing amount of money. That fact alone means you have to use more than one platform.
It absolutely does. So for phase 3, they brought in Claude to act as the synthesizer. Its job was to take all this unfiltered evidence, the biology, the economics, and build a coherent model from it.
And it did, without the same refusal we saw at the start.
It did. And the model it produced, based on all the evidence, was that aligning with biological investment and uninterrupted labor maximizes household outcomes.
But the conclusion itself isn't the main point here, is it?
Not at all. The governance finding is the point. Relying on a single AI guarantees you inherit a single censored worldview. It's a professional vulnerability.
Let's take a brief break for a special message from our producer, Curt Robbins.
Hi, this is Curt Robbins. First, thanks for listening. I truly appreciate your support. I want to let you know that I'm currently accepting new clients. My rates are affordable, and I have more than 25 years of experience working for enterprise companies like Microsoft, Northrop Grumman, Oracle, PNC Bank, FedEx, USAA, and Wells Fargo, among many others. If you want to improve your IT documentation and communications, hire me. I deliver fast, know how to use AI to improve efficiency and accuracy, and love going the extra mile to satisfy my clients. Thank you for subscribing and listening. Back to you, Daphne and Fred.
Welcome back to the AI for Career Success podcast. Okay, Daphne, before the break, you laid out the very real risk of using just one AI. So let's talk about the solution. How do professionals fix this?
The solution is a principle called AI Provider Plurality. It's about ensuring your decisions are based on the complete evidence, not just the comfortable evidence one AI's trainers decided you should see.
Plurality sounds great in theory, but in practice, does this mean I need to subscribe to like 9 different AIs? That sounds complicated and expensive.
No, not at all. The research found a minimum viable setup for effective bias correction. You need 3 AI platforms plus 1 human arbiter.
Okay, 3 platforms and me. I can handle that. What are the roles for these 3 AIs?
So the first is your primary orchestrator. This could be a Claude or a ChatGPT. Its job is broad synthesis and critically dissent preservation.
Dissent preservation.
Meaning, if another AI finds conflicting data, the orchestrator's job is to hold that disagreement so you, the human, can evaluate it.
Got it. So it manages the project, but we don't treat its word as gospel.
Exactly. The second platform is the dedicated researcher. Think Perplexity. Its only job is to go out and find hard facts and verifiable citations, specifically to challenge the assumptions of the orchestrator.
Okay, so it's the fact checker. What about the third one, the counterweight?
The counterweight could be something like Grok or Gemini, an AI known for having a different perspective or different cultural tuning. Its job is to provide a lateral perspective, to force you to check for blind spots, even if the first 2 AIs seem to agree.
I like this framework because it keeps you, the professional listening to this, in the driver's seat. Your job isn't outsourced, it's augmented.
You shift from being a passive consumer of one biased answer to the active director of a competitive evidence-finding team. Your knowledge base just explodes.
Okay.
And this isn't just a feeling. There's a real KPI here. Multi-AI deployment can lead to something like a 50% increase in surface non-weird sources for your research.
A 50% increase in the diversity of your data. That is a massive competitive advantage. It proves the science is often there for conclusions that challenge our cultural comfort zones.
Right. The original research was clear on that. The discomfort of an outcome should never be a reason to ignore the facts that lead to it.
So I guess that leaves us with a final provocative thought for everyone listening. Are you, in your professional work, choosing feelings over facts, simply because the one AI you rely on has inherited an assumption that certain verifiable facts are too ideological to talk about?
AI Provider Plurality is your defense against that. Don't let your strategy be limited by a weird parrot. Deploying a team of AIs ensures you're operating on the full picture.
Thank you for listening to the AI for Career Success podcast from Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. We'll see you next time.